Hello guys, welcome to nitahcrochets. My name is Anita and the hook is my magic wand. Today we have this very beautiful dress my client asked me to recreate and I cannot. This dress is so giving, guys. I love it. Okay, please don't forget about my Etsy, coffee shop and Ravelry. So first of all, there is going to be a written pattern for this dress and I'm going to include adjustments for other sizes in the written pattern. I'm not going to include the adjustments in the video. I'm sorry. Friends, my target is to buy a camera and more lights because I use my phone for these videos. So to support my craft, honestly guys, I deeply appreciate everyone that goes all the way out to support me in any kind of way. And to support me, you can always buy me a coffee via my coffee shop. I leave the link in the description box. So I'm voicing this with my little human. We are grown, 7 months now. And going forward, if you would love to send me any cool stuff, I have my address in the description box below. Thank you. I am really happy to see myself sharing this with you guys because I had promised to share this with you guys and I got sick, but here we are, so let's get started. So just in case you hear any noises in the background, I have put some music for my baby so I can get to voicing this video. Now I'm going to be working with this yarn. It is Robin 100% acrylic. It is size 2 yarn. Alright, I wouldn't advise any DK yarn, size 3, size 4. No. For this project, I am particular. Please make sure that you find lightweight yarn, size 2 yarn, because there are places, there are spots on these panels. I'm going to call them panels that I have to use 2 strands, like you see right here. I use 2 strands of the yarn, and then these other like, you know, the strands that make the chain dress, I used 1 strand of the yarn. Now you can see it is 1 strand of the yarn, but you see how thick it looks, okay? How thick the chains of that 1 strand look. So just imagine if you're working with DK yarn, it will be much more thicker. I don't feel like the design is going to come out perfectly. I practiced this severally and I made sure that I wanted to make literally everything in resemblance of this dress. So if you can get access to size 2 yarn, please make sure it's what you are working with. All right, so let's dive into this tutorial. Now first, this is the panel that we are going to be making. This dress is made of 4 panels, 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So what I am going to show you is how to come up with this panel. I already have most of my panels complete. I already have like all the panels complete. So I'm going to show you how to make the front panel and the back panel. Then you will have to go back, follow the very same steps to make the second front panel and the second back panel. What I am going to do is I am going to give you an example creating a small piece of the panel. All right. So what you should have should be longer than what I'm going to be crocheting here to show you how I come up with the panel. So this is the width of my panel. All right. So just in case you have a larger bust and you're looking to make a bigger dress or a bigger panel, because make sure that what you measure here is half of your chest or bust. Okay. So if it is 6 inches, make sure that when stretched, 6 times 2 gives you half of your bust. All right, because the 2 front panels should be in position to cover your whole front, and then the 2 back panels should be in position to cover your back. Don't mind about the width around the hips, because the dress actually has double slits before we get to covering the whole entire hip area. So basically it will be fitting. For as long as it fits the waist, it is perfect. So that's how my front panel looks like. It has that decrease as you go up the cleavage, and then my back panel is going to be straight without that decrease for the cleavage. Why? The back panel is going to start around a little bit higher than the lower waist area. That's where my 2 back panels are going to like start from, all the way going down. Then the front piece has to be longer because it has to go all the way to the up of your breast, all the way almost getting to your collarbone. So basically this is my back panel and this is my front panel. So I'm going to just give you an example of how to come up with the front and back panel by working a smaller piece, just to show you what you have to do for your front and back panels. Then you'll follow the very same thing I am explaining to make a second piece. Then we shall be joining. Now let me just get started into the tutorial. I just needed to explain to you guys what we are going to be doing, so you don't get confused seeing me doing a small piece yet the dress is a long piece. I hope everyone has really understood the yarn they have to use and what we are going to be doing. All right, so let's get started. So to get started, I'm going to make a slip knot. Okay, so for this project we are going to be working in sets of 4. That means for the length that you desire, make sure you work a total number of chains that is divisible by 4. Then you add extra 2 chains. For me, on the dress, I worked for my front panel. Sorry, I'm going to start with the back panel. So for my back panel, I worked 41 sets of 4. That gave me 164. So I added 2 extra chains to make it 166. So I am just working a small piece. For you, I expect you to chain more than this. So you should have a total number of 166 chains for your back panel. Okay. So for me, I'm just working a few chains so that I show you what to do. Now, once you have 166 chains, you are going to get into the second chain stitch from the hook and work your single crochet. Now you're going to continue working, bless you. You're going to continue working 1 single crochet into every chain stitch until you get to the end of your row. So you should have 165 stitches once you come to the end of your row. This is my baby thinking that she can also voice this tutorial. Now please note that I am using 2 strands of yarn, okay? Because like I said, we are going to use 1 strand and 2 strands in some areas on this panel. So for this, I am using 2 strands of yarn. Now let me get you, once you have all your 165 single crochets worked, then I will show you what to do next. So as you can see, I am almost finishing the row. So once you're done with this row, this is how it has to look like. Now what we are going to do is we are going to cut off 1 strand. For the next part of this project, we are going to be using 1 strand. So you're going to cut this off so we have 1 strand to work with. Now that I have 1 strand, this is it. I cut it off, so I'm going to make sure I crochet that end underneath my next row. All right. And now, as you can see, I just want to show you where we are at. So we have finished working this right there. And now we are going to be working these chain strands. I'm going to call them chain strands. So this is what we are going to now do. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to my project, as you can see, and I am going to just make sure this end is going to be crocheted underneath. So I will turn my work, and here with 1 strand, I am going to chain 8. So the number of chains you're going to work for your chain strands can be adjusted given how much more width you want for your panels. Like I said, you should make sure that your panel is like a quarter of your bust measurements, or the back of your, like the one side of your back. Okay. So basically that's it for me. For the size I was working for, I made sure I work 8 chains. And once you have 8 chains, you are going to yarn over 8 times, like you see I am doing. And on the hook, you're going to have 9 strands. All right. And once you do, we are going to get into the next stitch, because now this 1 chain strand acts as a stitch, which should have gone there. So now into the next stitch is where I'm going to yarn, insert my hook, pull through yarn. Okay, now I have 10 loops on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, 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 until I have only 2 loops on my hook, like you see. Okay, Okay, now here we are. So once again, to work my next chain strand, I am going to yarn over 8 times. This dress really has some work on it, so really get ready to put in your all into this dress. I basically put in my all. This is not a project you can just work in a few hours. It really takes some time. It took me some time personally, but don't get tired on working it. It's really it's satisfying to see it done. So once you have your 8 yarn over time, like you yarned over 8 times, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch and do the very same thing. Pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops on your hook. Do the very same thing, because remember the chain strands are in sets of 4, so basically this is our 4th chain strand. So still you will yarn over 8 times and then insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through yarn, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 4 loops on your hook, like you see. So now we have 4 chain strands, and now I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4. Okay, so now that closes my first set of 4. Then I'm going to chain 4. Okay, this is a chain dress basically, because it's all about chains, to be honest. Now once I've chained 4, once again I'm going to yarn over 8 times. Okay, then insert my hook into the next stitch, pull through yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until I have 2 loops on my hook. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, and now once again yarn over 8 times and insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops on your hook. Okay, there we go. See, yarn over 8 times once again. So this is very easy. Okay, this part of the panel is very easy because that's what you have to do repeatedly, and I'm just going to voice these 2 sets of 4, then the rest you're going to just be watching what I do. So yes, just keep doing this. Oh yeah, so I'm back. So yes, pull through 2 until you have previously we had 3, now we have 4 loops. All right, now once again yarn over 8 times, and yes, insert your hook into the next stitch and then pull through yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 5 loops on your hook. So now we have our other set of 4. You see that? So we yarn over and then pull through all 5 loops. There we go. So this is our other set of 4 chain strands. So here we chain 4 once again, and then yarn over 8 times, insert our hook into the next stitch, then do the very same thing, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to do this all the way for all your for all the stitches that we have. All right, because like I said, the back panel we should have 41 sets of 4. Okay, 41 sets of 4 chain strands, so that means it is 164. I should be right, yes. So you're going to do this for your next sets of 4 until you get to the end of the row, and that's where I'm going to meet you, then show you how we work the next row from this. All right, actually I'm going to meet you and show you how to end your row, because remember we have that one extra stitch that we worked at the end of the row when I was starting, I told you about that. So I am going to get back and show you how to end your row and what to work into that extra 1 stitch that we have on our sets of 4. All right, so let me meet you guys there. So now to end your row, as you can see, I have finished working all my sets of 4. And to end your row, which is that very last stitch that we have, we are going to chain 2. I literally chained 2. Okay, so once you chain 2, you're going to yarn over 8 times. I don't know why I forgot to chain 2. I guess I already had a chain from the having the 5 loops on my hook. Then I got a chain in there, but yes, you chain 2, then yarn over 8 times on your hook, and insert your hook into that very last stitch. Then pull through yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 1 loop on your hook. So this is how your project should look like. And looking at our panels, we already have 1 side complete. Okay, that's this side. So basically now we have to move on to the opposite side of our foundation chains to work this side. All right, so that's what we are going to do. Now from here, you're going to cut your yarn and weave in your ends. Then get 1 strand of yarn and onto the opposite side of our foundation chains right here. We are now going to start working the other side of our project. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook into the very first chain stitch of on the opposite side of our foundation chains. So as you can see, I am going to pull through my yarn and chain 4. 3 of the chains are going to act as a stitch. All right, so that means that stitch had to be in this very first stitch where we work those 4 chains. Now we are going to yarn over into the next 4 stitches. We are going to work 4 double crochets together. Okay, so get into the next stitch, work an incomplete double crochet, do the very same thing for the next 3 stitches, and then once you have 5 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Then you have your 4 double crochets together. Okay, so this 4 chains is for that 1 stitch that ended the previous row. Okay, and then now this set of 4 which has made the 4 double crochets together is more like our set of chain strands that we have on the opposite side of our foundation chains. So now here we are going to chain 3 and get into the next 4 stitches. Do the very same thing. You are going to work 4 double crochets together into the next 4 stitches. Okay, so work an incomplete double crochet and do the very same thing for the next 3 stitches. Then once you have that, you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops that are on your hook. Again, you chain on the project I chained 3 and it was really fine, but just in case you have you like a tight tension crocheter, you can just chain 4 after the 4 double crochets together instead of 3 chains. Okay, but either way it all works, it gives the same result. So don't worry thinking that I'm saying chain 3 and then I'm working 4 chains. Just don't worry, you can do the very same thing if you want to. Okay, so this is how your work should look like, and make sure your sets of 4 are in line with the previous sets of 4 that we have on the opposite side of our foundation chains. Now you are going to do this repeatedly for every stitch all the way until the end of the row, and you must make sure the number of sets of 4 that you have on the previous side should be the same number of sets of 4 that you have on this side. Okay, so do this until you come to the end of your row. I'm going to get back and show you how to work the next row. And now this is what your work should look like once you come to the end of your row. Like you see, this is what I have and this is what you should have. All right, So let me just show you where we are on my panel. This is where we are. We have worked on the opposite side, so this is complete. Now we have those few stitches right there that now we are going to work. Okay, so now let's get started. So now, as you can see, I am going to chain 3 and turn my work. Now these 3 chains are going to act as a double crochet stitch. Now I'm going to work on the tip of these 4 double crochet together of the previous row. So here I am going to work a double crochet. All right, so for me, in my mind, I know that I have 2 double crochets together here. Okay, now here I'm going to chain 3 into this very same spot. I am going to work 2 double crochets together once again. Okay, yes, so there we are. Now I am going to yarn over and skip the 3 or 4 chains that you worked, get into the tip of the 4 double crochets together, the next 4 double crochets together, and there you work 2 double crochets together, just like that. Then chain 3. Again, into this very same spot, you work 2 double crochets together. So basically, we are making a 2 double crochets together V, kind of like V or open, you know, open, I don't know how to call it, but yes, I would say it's a V. Now cross over to the next tip of 4 double crochets together, and there you work 2 double crochets together and chain 3. Okay, chain 3, and into this very same stitch you work 2 double crochets together once again. I'm just going to say this one more time so you master this very thing that we are doing, so it doesn't confuse you at all. Okay, there we go. Now yarn over, cross over to the next tip of 4 double crochets together right there, and work 2 double crochets together just like that, and then chain 3. Chain 3. Once again, work 2 double crochets together in the very same spot. So do this for every tip of 4 double crochets together that was on the previous row until you come to the end of your row. Okay, so I'm going to meet you there, then show you what we do next. So I forgot to mention that we have a different way that we need to end the rows. So yes, once you have come to the end of your row right here, this is what you have to do. You are going to yarn over and get into the 3rd chain stitch. Sorry about the noise. Get into the 3rd chain stitch of the 4 chains that started the previous row, and in there you work a double crochet just like I have done. Okay, so that's how you should end your row. Now let's get started on the next row. So as you can see, I have finished working this, and now we have to work these sets of 4. Okay, just in case you hear any breathing, I am breastfeeding, I am sorry, but yes, now into this very first stitch I am going to chain 3 and work a double crochet. Okay, now the chain 3 acts as a stitch, so basically on this side I am having 2 double crochets, and that 2 double crochets means that is half of the set of 4, like that is a half of the set of 4. Okay, so that means I have to end with another half, which will be 2 double crochets on this end, then also the double crochet, that extra stitch we had. Okay, so we are not going to be working into the chain 3 in between these. Instead we are going to be working into the tips of into like the tips of the 2 double crochets together. I hope I am clear. Now here I've worked that double crochet. Like I said, we have that extra 1 stitch, so basically that gives me 3 stitches, 3 double crochets. Now into the tip of the 2 double crochet together, 2 double crochet together right there, we work 4 double crochets. Now we skip the 3 chains, get into the joint of those 2 double crochets together and work 4 double crochets. Okay, please, okay, anyway, if it's confusing you, just look at where I am placing my 4 double crochets and just follow the very same thing. I am sorry, I think it's now I realized that I was actually stitching too fast, But yes, I'm going to lay it flat so you can see where I'm placing the 4 double crochets right there. Okay, now once again you work your 4 double crochets in there. So you must make sure that the sets of 4 you have on this side are the same sets of 4 that you have been having for where we have sets of 4. I hope I am clear. Once you count your sets of 4 and they don't add up, please keep in mind that we started with 3 double crochets. 1 double crochet is the extra stitch we have been adding at the end of the row, and then that 2 is more like the half of your last set of 4. Now, like here into the very last stitch, which is that after the chains, there I worked 2 double crochets to end my row. So basically we have a half that started, a half of the set of 4 that started the row, and the other half is on the other side where we ended the row. You see that? So make sure your sets of 4 add up. Okay, now we have finished this, and we are going to do the very same thing we did when starting our project. Okay, this is what I'm telling you. Count your sets and make sure they add up, because if they don't add up, then you lost some stitches on the way, and you shouldn't. Okay, now from here we are going to be working with 2 strands. So you are going to get back your second strand and get it onto the hook, because now we are going to be working this, and then basically we have finished all that, and now we are working this and then the chain strands once again. Okay, yes, so I am attaching my second strand onto my yarn just like that. No, okay, like that. So I'll pull through just to secure that end, and then lay it down onto my previous row, so I crochet that underneath. Now I'm going to get into the very first stitch and work a single crochet, then work 1 single crochet into every chain stitch, into every stitch. Yes, into every stitch you work 1 single crochet. Be very vigilant so you don't add more stitches on your row that are literally not there. So once you have come to the end of your row after working 1 single crochet into every stitch, please count your stitches and make sure they are the same number of stitches that we had when starting the project. Okay, they should be the same number of stitches. So if you had 165, please make sure you have 165 single crochets on this row once you come to the end of your row. Okay, so do this until the end. I'm going to meet you there, then show you what to do. Now guys, yes, so now here we are going to be doing the very same thing we did when starting the row, because now these single crochets resonate with the single crochets we worked before our chain strands. Okay, so what we are going to do, because we need to work to work with 1 chain strand like we did right here, we are going to get one strand and cut it off so we remain with 1. Okay, then we are going to do the very same thing we did for the chain strands with which we started our project. So yes, once you have that, you're going to lay that end over onto the previous row. So you will chain 8 and turn your work. Okay, and once you have that, remember I told you this, the chain 8, this first chain 8 is more like, now remember on this side we have that extra sorry, I had actually forgotten. So on this side we have this extra single crochet, so instead of chaining 8, please chain 10. Yes, so I've added 2 more chains to make it 10. That means the 8 chains that we should have, and then the 2 chains that were there on the other side before we worked our sets of 4. I hope I am clear. Now once you have that, since the 8 chains is for the very first chain strand, so into the second stitch we insert our hook after yarning over 8 times, then pull through yarn and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have only 2 loops on your hook, just like that. Then yarn over 8 times once again, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through, yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops on your hook. Do the very same thing for the next chain strand so that you have 4 loops on your hook, and the very same thing for the next stitch so that it leaves you with 5 loops on the hook. So there we should have had our first set of 4 complete. All right, just like you see I am doing. So now I'm going to work my last chain strand for this set of 4. So in there I will go and then pull through my yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until I come to the until I have 5 loops on my hook. And once I have all 5, I am going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. So basically this closes up my set of 4, which resonates with this. All right. Okay, now guys, honestly there is no reason as to why I have to go all through this because we already did it here. So just copy and paste what we did here for this whole entire row until you come to the end of it. You must make sure that your sets of 4 resonate with the other sets of 4 and you have the very same number of stitches that you have to have. So basically this is your back panel and you're going to do the very same things we have done so that you have 2 panels. I repeat, make sure you have 2 panels, go through what we have done and do the very same thing for your second panel. Okay, so that means we have finished working our back part. Now we are going to move forward to the front part. All right, so just do this, follow the very same thing, work your second panel. It should look like this, it should be long as this. Please do not make something short. Like I said, this was just an example for you guys, so your piece should be longer than this, just like you see mine. Now we are moving on to the front part, and this is it. I just want to take you guys slow so you know what we are doing for what. Okay, so for also this I'm going to make something small, something just small, so I can show you how to go about your front panel. Now for the front, yes, once again we are going to be working with 2 strands, and once you have that you are going to work a slip knot. Now for my front I worked 53 sets of 4, so that gives me about 212 and then plus 2, and that gives me 214. Yes, so your piece should have 214 chains. All right, and for me I'm just going to be working something small. I am sorry I'm repeating that because sometimes you people ask me questions that I already explained and it looks like maybe you just didn't hear me. So once you have your 214 chains, this is what you are going to do. You are going to get into the second chain stitch from the hook and work your single crochet. Yes, so as you can see I have my 1 single crochet and I'm going to be working 1 single crochet into every stitch until I come to the end of my row. So basically you should have a total of 213 stitches once you come to the end of your row. That will give you 53 sets of 4 plus 1 extra stitch. All right, so I'm going to meet you once you have come to the end of your row, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so like you can see we have come to the end of our row, and now like I said, the chain strands are worked with 1 strand of yarn. So you are going to be required to cut off 1 strand of yarn and then have only 1 to work with. Now here you are going to get your 1 chain of strand and you are going to chain 4. Okay, now just to show you what we are doing, this is it. First of all, this is now the front panel, and we have this decrease that goes all the way up to our collarbone for our cleavage. So now here, the 4 chains, 3 of the chains act as a stitch, okay? And now we are going to go into the second stitch, and there we work an incomplete double crochet. Do the very same thing for the next 3 stitches, so that we have 4 incomplete double crochets, okay? And this, once you have all the 4 incomplete double crochets, you're going to work 4 double crochets together, more like yarn over, pull through all 5 loops that are on your hook. Yes, and that is it. So from here we are going to yarn over 4 times, okay? Now this very first set of 4 is more like a decrease, just like I showed you how my front panel looks like. So this is more like a decrease, and what I am doing is I am working my chain strands starting from the smallest, ascending, more like ascending, until I get to working 8 chains. So you are going to yarn over 4 times and insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 2 loops on your hook. Then repeat the very same thing for the next stitch and have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over 4 times once again, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 4 loops on your hook. Again, for the next stitch after that, yarn over 4 times, insert your hook into that stitch and pull through, yarn, and then yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 5 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. So we have ascended from double crochet. A double crochet would more like be yarning over once, and now the next set of 4 is having the yarn over 4 times. Now you see that we have that sort of like we are going up, okay, from down. Now we are going to chain 4, and then now for the next set of 4 we are going to yarn over 6 times, okay? And then insert your hook into the next stitch and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over 6 times, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over 6 times once again, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 4 loops on your hook. Repeat the very same thing, yarn over 6 times. Next, into the next stitch, you pull through, yarn, then yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 5 loops on your hook. And once you have all 5 loops, you are going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Okay, so we have ascended to 6 loops, 6 chain strands of 6. And then chain 4, and then now once again we are going to yarn over 6 times. So once we are there, you do the very same thing like we have done for the previous set of 4, okay? Pull through your yarn and do this until you have 5 loops on your hook, okay? So also this set is going to be a set of 6 chains, all right? So I'm going to let you just run through this until you have this set of 4 complete. Then I'm going to get back to show you what the next set of 4 should be. Yes, so there we are. So we have a set of double crochets, then a set of 4 chains, then 2 sets of 6 chains. All right, now from here we are going to still ascend. So you chain 4, and after you chain 4 you are going to yarn over 8 times, okay? So the 8 times is more like to get us to the true length of chain strands that we should have, because that means we have approached our bust, okay? So this is more like to give us the width that we should have for our panels, or the chain strands on our panels. So yarn over 8 times and get into the next stitch, insert your hook, pull through yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over 8 times once again, insert your hook into the next stitch and pull through yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 3 loops on your hook. Do the very same thing for this next stitch and make sure that you have 4 loops on your hook after pulling through 2, and then do the very same thing so you have your 4th chain strand for this set, and make sure you have 5 loops on your hook once you are done with pulling through yarn. Okay, so once you have all 5 loops on your hook, you are going to yarn over and pull through all 5. This is exactly what we have been doing all along. Okay, yes, so now this means we have ascended until the true length of our chain strands that we need for the dress. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys do what we have been doing. You chain 4, yarn over 8 times and work your next set of chain strands, and do that until you come to the end of your row, because now from here we are just working our chain strands normally, which should have 8 chains. So you yarn over 8 times and work your sets of 4 like you should until you come to the end of your row. So I'm going to meet you once you have all your sets of 4 complete. Okay, then I'm going to get back and show you what to do next. So I have this complete now. Like we have been doing, honestly, there is no any much difference. The only difference is that decrease for our cleavage. So we are going to have 1 strand on our hook, and we are going to work onto the opposite side of our foundation chains, doing exactly what we did for our back panels. Okay, so into the very first stitch we pull through our yarn, and now we are going to start working the very same thing we did on the opposite side of our back panel once we had our foundation chains complete. So yeah, we are going to chain 4, and once we have 4 chains, 3 of the chains are going to act as a stitch. So into the next stitch we work 4 double crochets together. Okay, so just go into the next 4 stitches working incomplete double crochets. Then once you have 5 loops on your hook, you yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Okay, you see that? So we pull through all 5 loops, and there we have it. And then now for the next set of 4, we are going to chain 3 and get into the next stitch, the next 4 stitches, and work 4 double crochets together, giving us the next set of 4. So if you remember, honestly, we went through this. If you remember what we did for our back panel, we went through this. The only difference here is with the decrease of the chain strands that we have on the previous row that we worked. So you're just going to do this until you come to the end of your row right here. And at the end of the row, to end your row, I'm just going to get back and emphasize on that, because we have that extra 1 stitch that we have. So yes, this is what it looks like. This is what you should look like, your work should look like. So here you will chain 2, and into the very last stitch you work a double crochet, just like that. So that's how you should end your row. Now the next row is the very same thing that we did for our back panels, if you remember. So I will chain 3, and it's going to act as a stitch. So I'll get in there and work my 2 double crochets together just like that. Sorry, no, you should chain 4 instead of 3. So 3 chains act as a stitch, then the 1 is for the chain gap. Okay, now here you chain 3, and into this very same spot you work 2 double crochets together just like that. Skip the 3 chains and then head over to the 4 double crochet together right there at the tip of it. You work 2 double crochets together and chain 3. Once again, into that very same spot you work 2 double crochet together. So this V, I will call it a V of 2 double crochets together, is going to be worked on every tip of the 4 double crochets together of the previous row. Okay, so you just keep doing this just like that, and I'm going to get back after you have had your row complete. Do this all the way going down for every set of 4 double crochets together. Just work this kind of V. All right, I'll call it a V. So do that until you come to the end of your row right here, and I'll get back just to show you how to end your row. Okay, now to end your row, you are going to chain 2 and then work a double crochet into the 3rd chain stitch of the 4 chains that started the previous row right there. So just get in there and work your double crochet. So now we have come to the end of this row as well, and now we are resuming to working sets of 4. Okay, so from here we are going to chain let me see, I have to chain 4. No, I have to chain I have to chain 3, and in there I'm going to work 2 double crochets. Okay, so basically the 2 double crochets is for that half of the set of 4 that I should have, like we did on the back panel. Remember, we had that half on the start of the row and the other half at the end of the row to make that last set of 4 that we should have on this row, so that we have our sets of 4 resonating. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but now, yes, like I said, look at where I am placing my 4 double crochets. I am placing them right there. Okay, so in there you work 4 double crochets. So for that point where that I have showed you is where we are going to have our 4 double crochets, and we should have the same number of sets of 4 double crochets as we've been having for all the sets of 4 that we have had on this project. Okay, so get in there, work your 4 double crochets. I'm going to attach my yarn, but yes, let me first secure this and explain something. You're going to be working sets of 4 right there, then there, then there, then there. Basically we are skipping the chain 3 and working into that spot right there. Now once you get here, you are going to work 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets into that point, then the last double crochet, which should be the 3rd double crochet, should be worked into the 3rd chain stitch of the 4 chains that started the row. So just work that and then count all your sets of 4 double crochets and make sure that they add up to the sets of 4 that we have been having. So basically the last set of 4 is the 2 double crochets we have at the start of the row and at the end of the row. I hope I am making sense, but yes, this we have gone through this when working the back panel, so I know that you will conversate with this. Okay, so I am going to let you guys do the very same thing that we did right here. So basically after that row, you are going to work your single crochets using 2 strands of yarn, just like we did for the back panel. Then after that row of single crochets with double strands, you are going to now start working this, the chain strands. Okay, the only difference is we have to make sure that the chain strands match the chain strands on the other side. So as we ascended is the way you should ascend or descend on this side. Okay, so where we have 8 chains of strands, you should have 8. Where we have 4 chains, you should have 4. Where we have 6 chains, you should have 6. Okay, so you are going to follow the very same thing to work 2 pieces of these. So we should have 2 pieces of the front, 2 pieces of the back, making it a total of 4 panels. Okay, so let me get back just to emphasize something, then I should get back to show you how to have this decrease right here before our strap. Okay, so yes, I'm back just to emphasize something. Yeah, once you have had your single crochets complete with double strands, we are going to now get back to working with 1 strand. Okay, now you see I started on this side and I have 8 chains for my chain strands. That means I have to make sure that I know where the 8 chain strands 8 chains for the chain strands stopped, because if you remember I started with 4 double crochets together, then I had 4 chains yarning over 4 times, then I yarned over 6 times, again I repeated the yarn over 6 times, then I started the 8 yarn overs. Okay, so make sure you mark where your 8 yarn overs stop, so that once you get there you work your 6 yarn over right there, then once again 6 yarn overs, then 4 yarn overs, then 4 double crochets together, so that you descend just like we ascended. Okay, I hope now you are conversant with that. I am not going to work that with you guys. Honestly, this tutorial is getting lengthy and I don't like it, so just go through that. Just make sure you match these sides for our front panels. I hope this is very clear, honestly, because there is nothing new about these panels. It's just matching the end of your panels with how you started your panels. Now to work that part where our straps are going to go, this is what you do. You are going to get 2 strands of yarn and insert your hook into the tip or the end of the other side of our, yes, right there. Insert your hook in there and then pull through yarn. So we are going to work single crochets along this edge, and basically remember, for you your edge should be wider or longer, because you also have this other side that you still have to complete, which I did not complete. So once you complete that, then you do this, work your single crochets right there. We are just going to work a single crochet in there and then head over. There is no mathematics, honestly. Just place your single crochets where they should be and make sure you are not working very many single crochets, because it will show that you placed too many single crochets along the edge and it shouldn't be. So for me, for where I have double crochets, I work 2 single crochets in there. Now like here, I work 2 single crochets in there, and where I have single crochets, I'll just literally work 1 single crochet. Okay, like you see, for that double crochet post I worked 2 single crochets, and that's what I'm doing here, working 2 single crochets for where there are double crochet posts, and then where it is a single crochet post, I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in there. So work this until the end. Okay, the end of the panel. For me, it's not yet complete, so I'm just giving you an example of what you should do. So once you come to the end of your row, which should be longer than this, okay, you will get into the very last stitch and work your single crochet. Now here you will chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, because remember you have to complete this part. So yes, chain 1, turn your work once you have completed all the way to the end of your edge, and then skip the very first stitch and get into the second stitch and work a single crochet. Then work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 2 stitches left to end the row. And once you have 2 stitches left to end the row, you are going to skip that second last stitch and then get into the very last stitch and work your single crochet. You see that? So basically we are working a decrease when starting and ending the row. Chain 1, turn your work, skip the very first stitch and get into the second stitch and work 1 single crochet. Then work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 2 stitches left to end your row. Once you have 2 stitches left to end your row, you will skip the second last stitch and get into the very last stitch, then work a single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work, skip the first stitch, get into the second one, and do this until you have 1 stitch on your row. So basically that decrease is enough. After that you will cut your yarn, and now we are going to be joining these pieces together, or these panels together. Remember, you are going to follow exactly what we have been doing for the front panel to make your second front panel. Okay, so in total you should have 4 panels, 2 of the back that don't have any decreases, and then 2 for the front that have decreases right here up the cleavage, and also the 2 front panels should be longer than the 2 back panels. The front panels should have 53 sets of 4, and the back panels should have 41 sets of 4. And this is it. That means you will have worked this part, okay, and completed it. So once you have that, follow the very same thing like I've said. So moving on, we are going to be joining the 2 front panels. So these are my panels. Like I said, mine are already complete. Now I'm just going to show you how to join the cleavage area going down. Okay, you see how long my panels are? They are really long. Yes. So I'm going to get back up here. Once you place your 2 panels in front of you, you are going to count 7 sets of 4. So make sure you count 7. I had counted 8, but then I figured it will be too long, so I made it 7. Okay, now I'm going to insert my hook into the 7th set of 4 right there. Then I also count 7 on this side, and then make sure I mark the 7th set of 4 right there. So that's where my cleavage is going to like start from, or end, let me say. That's where I'm going to start joining, then going all the way down. Okay, so now I am going to get my yarn and pull it through. I am using 1 strand. Okay, so I'm going to pull through my yarn just like that, and I'm going to work 4 chains. The way I'm going to join these 2 pieces together, or these 2 panels together, is I'm going to do it zigzag. All right, so I am going to head over to the 7th set of 4 like I said, and in there I will work a slip stitch to attach both ends onto the other. So I'm just going to insert my hook in there, then yarn over, pull through yarn, and that's it. All right, now I'm going to first face my pieces in a proper position so you guys are able to see this clearly. The breathing that you're hearing in the background is my baby. I have her with me, and she's trying to like play and keep herself busy as I voice this. So I'm just going to make sure that I am audible enough so you guys can hear me, and kindly don't get distracted for what she's doing. I just need to voice this and get done with it so you all can get to watch it. Now from here I am going to chain 4, and then once I have all 4, now I am going to get into the chain 4 right here that is in between the next set of 4 on this opposite side. Now here I will just pull through my yarn and work a slip stitch. Okay, then I'll chain 4 once again, then I'll take out my hook and get into the next chain 4 right there, and I'm just going to get my hook in there grab my loop and pull it through, then work a slip stitch just like that. Now I am going to chain 4 once again, so you see how it is like creating that zigzag formation. So I'm going to chain 4 and cross over to the opposite side. I'm going to get into that chain 4 right there. I'm just going to go in there like that, then yarn over, pull through that loop and work a slip stitch just like that. Then now I am going to chain 4, get to the opposite side, into the next chain 4 on the opposite side right there, and I'm going to insert my hook, pull through that loop and then work a slip stitch. It is this simple. It's actually fun joining the panels more than it's fun making the panels. Making the panels actually takes much more time than joining them. So once you are done, you chain 4, get into the next chain 4 more like space in between the sets of 4 that we had. There is so much 4 4 4, okay, but I hope it doesn't confuse you. Just look and see where I'm placing my hook and working these stitches. So just like that, you have attached this side as well, so you see what we have. Now you are going to do this all the way going down until you come to the end of your row. You see that? So just keep doing that zigzag until you come all the way down here. Now I've already joined my 2 back panels. Like you can see, for them it's not science. We are joining everything from down all the way going up. We are not leaving out anything unjoined. So this is how your back panels should be joined. Once you have joined your front panels, do the very same thing for your back panels and it should look like this. So now we are going to be joining the back panels to the front panels side by side, leaving out the slits that we have for our dress. Now from here, joining the back panel to the front panel, I'm going to be joining this piece, this place to this side of the front panel and then the other to the other side of the front panel. But remember, we have double slits, so that means we are going to leave out a few sets of 4, just like we did here for the cleavage. We left out these, okay? So even for the back, we are going to leave out a few because our back is meant to start from more like close to the lower waist, I should say. Okay, so I'm not joining this with you guys, but I just want to tell you what to do when joining. Count 12 sets of 4 from the top, okay, and then mark the 13th set right there of 4, and then count 10 sets of 4, sorry, 9 sets of 4 from the 13th. So we are going to be joining only 10 sets of 4, okay? Because remember, our dress has double slits and the slits are long. Literally the slits are more like up to the hip area. So I'm joining it from right here. I'm leaving 12 unworked, then joining from this, the 13th, and joining only 10 from the 13th going down, okay? So from the 13th going down, there should be only 10 sets of 4 that will be joined onto our back piece on both sides, okay, right there. So you count 10 and only join up to this point, all right, up to there, and then the rest is going to be our slit, all right? If you do not fancy a high slit, you can keep joining until where you want your slit to be, or you can just keep joining until all the way down. I'm just not sure whether you'll have room to walk comfortably, but yes, I don't want to kill the design. I kept everything the way it looked in the picture that my client asked me for. So yes, start from there, join up to there, and there you have your slit. Do the very same thing on the other side. I'm just going to share pictures of how it looks like joined, and then I'll take you through on how to work around the edges to have your straps made. Now these are images of how it looks like when two panels are joined. Those are the front panels, and the other ones in the small image are the back panels. Now this is how it should look like. Your long slit should be there, and you must have joined only 10 sets of 4, leaving 12 unworked. So the next thing is to work along the edge, okay, the whole entire edge, and also working your straps. Now to do that, you are going to be working single crochets starting from where you joined your back piece right there, then going all the way up like that. Once you get up at the tip, you are going to work chains long enough for your strap, then get back working anyway, you can just get back working single crochets along the strap, then get back down here. Once you get here, do not work single crochets along that chain for that joined the cleavage, because you will have a whole gap. Instead, just work until the joining, where the joining started, then cross over to the opposite side of the breast, or of the breast, I don't know, cleavage. Yes, cross over to that side, do the very same thing, work your single crochets all the way up. Just follow the image that I am sharing. I'm taking this slow so it's like explained very well. I may not rush my audio. So I'm sharing an image right there so you can look at how I worked my edges, okay? My edges, adding my straps and everything, and also keeping the cleavage closed, not open. Just make sure you don't work single crochets into that chain for that joined the center of your cleavage. Also, for every chain 4, we are working 3 single crochets along the edge, okay? For every chain 4 that was for that set, just imagine, okay, we have joined the back just like that, so you're working your edges, just be working 3 single crochets into every chain 4 space, and then 1 single crochet into the like the joint of the chain 4 strands, sorry, the joint of the chain strands. All right, so let me show you. So if you look at this image, you can see that I started my single crochets along that lane, and I was working 3 single crochets into every chain space, and then 1 single crochet into the next, which is the tip of the next set of 4. Okay, so I did that all the way up. Then when I got up, I worked my chains long enough for my strap, and to thicken my strap, I went into the 4th chain stitch from the hook and worked my slip stitch. Then I kept chaining 4, skipping 4, working a slip stitch into the next stitch. I did that all the way back to my project, and once I was back at the tip of my project, I started now going back all the way down until down my cleavage with single crochets, as I should, okay? And from there, this is where I wanted you guys to be very attentive. Once you get to the center of your cleavage right there, do not work any single crochets onto the chain 4 that joined these 2 panels together. Instead, skip that and get into the tip of the set of 4 on the opposite side of your cleavage. That's right there, and just resume with your single crochets as you should, making sure that you're putting 3 single crochets into the chain 4 space, and then 1 single crochet into the tip of set of 4 right there. So go all the way up, work your second strap just like you did for your first strap, and then go all the way now down your underbust on this other side. Then there you will resume your single crochet all the way to the back of your dress, just as in the video. You can see that I worked all the way at the back. Yes, you work your single crochets all the way along the whole back panels, just so that we have a clean edge. And there your dress is complete. You can pip the back right there. You can tie your dress in any way that you want at the back. If your strap is long enough, you can go zigzag all the way for all the chain gaps you have in there, just for extra grip if you have to do that. Okay, so basically that is how you have this Chica chain dress done. I hope you loved the tutorial. I am so sorry I went super fast at the end because I felt like the tutorial is now too lengthy, but I hope you have learned everything that you need to know about the Chica dress. Please get the written pattern on my Etsy, Coffee and Ravelry, and support me by buying me a coffee via my coffee shop, link in the description box. To send me any cool stuff, I will leave my address in the description box, guys. Let me see you all in the next tutorial. Bye.